Light FM.
I want to welcome you all to 106.7 Lite FM's virtual hangout with Delilah, presented by Bathfitter. I'm so excited that all of you are here today. This is going to be so fun. We're going to have a great conversation with a woman you all know, and I am so honored to call my friend. I have been listening to Delilah since I was like 8 or 9. My mom turned me on to her and been a listener ever since. Started working with her about 4 years ago, and now she's one of my very, very good friends. So without further ado, please put your hands together for Delilah.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound perfect.
Thank you. Well, I think we've got some questions that you guys put together that I'm going to answer. But I do want to just mention Father's Day that just passed. I hope you all had a great Father's Day. If your father is in heaven or wasn't around, or your heart was just sad, I'm sorry. I hope that you were able to spend some time with somebody who's a great dad. Dee, I know you were missing your grandpa.
Oh,
and
yes.
I love the stories of your grandpa so much. You have to talk about Phil to the folks on the phone, because he was such a character.
Oh, yes, my grandfather lived until he was 95. Just almost 3 years ago, he passed away. And we had such a great relationship. He was my soulmate, my true soulmate. And I know, Delilah, you believe in this also, but everyone's got a few soulmates in their life. And he was definitely one of them. And he was my grandpa. And I helped him throughout my entire life. Even as a little kid, I was 5 years old, pouring him coffee, and I burnt my wrist, and I have the scars to prove it. But I didn't care. I was getting Poppy some coffee.
So tell the story of Poppy with the I love this, with the mop.
Oh yes, the mop. So my grandfather, up until 3 months before he passed away, he was still driving, bowling, dancing, everything. And he was cleaning his own house.
95 years old, and the man could dance better than me.
Yeah. So he says, Dee, I'm gonna mop. You're gonna mop the floor? Yeah. All right. So he takes the mop, and it's like a swishy one, and he's like dancing with it, and he's taking it and putting it into the toilet bowl, not in something, the water, a bucket. He's putting it in the toilet bowl, dancing, singing, and he's just having a great time. He enjoyed mopping the floor, but I told him, don't use the bleach. It made me sick, and he still used the bleach. So
I love that at 95 years old, he was dancing with a mop. I love that.
Yeah. He loved it. He loved it. So
happy Father's Day to Poppy in heaven. And I hope everybody got to spend some time with a great dad in their life.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to know, Delilah, I know you've been doing a lot of great things during this pandemic. Like, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and where you've been the last 3 months.
Eating. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been baking sourdough bread and eating it. So, and then I tell myself, okay, I'm not going to bake anymore. And the kids and my husband and my family are like, oh, please just bake one loaf. You don't have to eat it. Yeah, right. Like, I'm not going to eat a slice when it comes right out of the oven and it's all soft in the inside and flaky and crusty on the outside. My girlfriend Marta gave me a sourdough starter about a month before the pandemic hit. And so I have baked sourdough bread at least once a week, usually twice a week this whole time.
Wow.
It's not good. I mean, it is good, but it's not good.
I know. I made a tray of eggplant rollatini, and I'm here myself. I had eggplant rollatini every day for 14 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like.
So are you quarantining alone, Dee? Is it just you?
Yeah, oh just me. Yeah, and it's been fabulous. I love it.
It's been, there are 9 of us that have been staying in my husband and I have 2 separate farms. when we met, he committed to running a 500-acre organic beef farm. And I have my farm, which is 55 acres. And so for the last 10, 11 years, he's been commuting up a 6-hour drive to see me once or twice a month.
Wow.
And I didn't really realize how well that worked for us until we've been in the same house for 4 months now. 9 of us in 1,100 square foot house. It's a little cozy. Yeah.
What have you been doing with the kids? I know you have Bay Paul there, my fave. I love him.
Baby Paul, who is 4, Delilah, who's 11, Delilah Jr., Blessing, who's 16, Briar, who's 15, and my daughter Bridget, who's 21, and my in-laws, Hilda and Miguel, and me and my husband, in an 1,100 square foot house that has 2 bedrooms, 2. So the girls are sleeping on a sleeping porch that we converted into a bedroom. Baby Paul has a bedroom that I kind of built in the living room, and my in-laws have the other bedroom, and it's been cozy.
I can only imagine. But I've seen you, I don't know if everyone has a chance to follow you on social media, but I've seen you do some paintings and some art and gardening, and you were paddle boarding today or yesterday?
Yesterday, I bought my girls paddle boards. I found a reservoir, a lake that is like 5 miles long. That's maybe 10 minutes from the ranch. And so we've been going there a lot since the weather's been nice. And there's hardly anybody else there. And I mean, this is a huge lake, and there's probably 20 picnic spots, and there's maybe 4 or 5 other families there. So there's plenty of social distancing, and nobody's in each other's face. And I bought my girls paddle boards, and I decided that I was going to learn how to do that. And if you know me, you know I have 0 balance, none, no balance whatsoever. So I never actually stood up on the paddle board, but I did paddle around on my knees, one-handed, because I hurt my left wrist, my left thumb actually. So I paddled around with a paddle in one hand yesterday on my knees, and that was an adventure. But you know, we're always busy. We don't have television. We don't have television at home, and I don't let my girls on social media. They don't even have cell phones. I know that's weird, but they engage in life, and they have hobbies, and I brought tons of art supplies, and I ordered a ton more off Amazon. So my girls have probably cranked out, I don't know, 30, 40 paintings since we've been here. They could have an art show, a gallery show. I got clay for Blessing, who loves to do pottery, and Delilah and I built a secret garden, and she planted seeds, and it's just bounding with flowers and colors now. So we stay really busy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I also took up gardening, and I'm loving it.
Did you really?
You inspired me.
Oh my gosh, David, producer David, who's on the call, he posted pictures yesterday of his lilies. David, you must have like 10,000 lilies in your garden. It's so beautiful.
Literally 10,000. And the best thing about them is that they spread every year. And you know this, when you plant them, they actually take over.
Multiply. Yeah. So beautiful.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And I mean, do you find yourself keeping busy with every single child different times of the day, or is it like everyone all at once, or you have separate time for each?
You know, it's pretty much everyone all the time. You know, like here right now, it's nap time. I laid baby Paul down because he's so worn out. He was playing in the hose with the dogs today, jumping through the sprinkler. So I laid him down for a nap. But, you know, my kids are pretty close. And so we like doing things as a family.
Oh, I love that. And, you know, it's a struggle, I know, for a lot of people, and some questions that we've gotten from our listeners here today is, is the importance of mental health and mental health awareness and resources available for those during the pandemic. As you can imagine, being stuck inside for all those months, how did you do it? I mean, is there any advice to give?
Well, it's kind of hard to be frustrated when you've got 500 acres of land. Let's be honest. I have a completely different situation than somebody who's living in a high rise or living in a city or living, but David, for example, he lives in a house that's on a busy road, but he's got a backyard that he's turned into his sanctuary. I think if you have a sanctuary, even if it's just a deck, a patio, someplace you can go and look at nature and look at birds, hang up a hummingbird feeder, put some hanging pots up. I tell everybody on and off the air, plant seeds, plant fruit, plant vegetables, plant a tree, plant just a flower pot will bring you joy, you know, when you need something to de-stress. But my situation is really unique in that I have 500 acres and horses and cows and dogs and cats and 5 kids. So it's not like I have time to go crazy. Like my friends, I watch on social media. Oh, I binge watched The Tiger King. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? I'm like, who the heck has time to watch anything? If I'm not grooming horses or feeding kids or baking sourdough, who's got time?
I've also been baking like crazy. I've been making brownies. I made almond
I could send you some sourdough starter and you'll just go nuts.
Yeah, please do, because I love sourdough and I'm obsessed with it.
It's the best.
Please. I want to actually grow basil because I want to make pesto. So that's
probably got 50 basil plants. The girls, I made them plant basil seeds. Sweet basil and spicy basil. There's different flavors of basil now. You can get the seeds. So we've got a seed house, a little greenhouse, and they planted their own basil. So they've been making their own pesto.
Can I fly and come hang? Because I really want to. I really want to get some basil, and I want to learn how to make that pesto. You know, it's
so easy. You got a food processor, olive oil, pesto, basil, pine nuts, and we put Parmesan in it. Oh,
forget about it, as they say.
Forget about it. You can put it on eggplant.
Yes. Oh, eggplant. I'm obsessed. I made eggplant rollatini, eggplant Parmesan. I'm a chef over here. Just call me Chef Danny D. That's it, you know?
All right, ask me some of your questions.
All right, we'll start with Donnie Pecor.
So what I was wondering is you built an incredible career working from home, and that was a little bit before it was actually a trend to be working from home. And I was wondering what advice you give listeners to keep them from feeling stir crazy, but also they actually keep them motivated to actually get up and work when they're home having other things to do.
Well, when you're on the air, you're on the air. So you don't have the option of going and doing something else. You know, when the microphone's on and they're expecting you to say hello, you got to be in the studio. So it's not like I can say, I'll do it later. You know, if you've got a job where you think, I'll do it in an hour, I suppose that would be a problem. But my job, when I'm on the air, I'm on the air. And for me, the key is I stinking love being on the air. So for me, my studio is my happy place. And even, don't tell my kids this, okay, Donnie? Just between us. Even when I'm not on the air, sometimes I lie and say I have to go down to the studio and work just because I need a few minutes.
I think we're all doing that nowadays.
Yeah. No, I love being on the air. So it doesn't get old. It's never annoying for me. I never feel like, I have to go talk to people and listen to great music.
No, that's amazing. Thank you for that. I find that I tend to procrastinate a little too much. And right now I had to tell my whole family that I'm on a Zoom meeting for work because I want to be here for this. So I'm going to do that too.
We're working with Delilah. Yeah, that's it. That's a ticket. So what was your other question?
My favorite job today.
Donnie, do you want to share your other question that you had?
Sure. We've already talked a little bit about, you know, how you're kind of getting through this process. But if another wave of COVID-19 were to come,
No,
we've kind of got
we're
some,
still in
we got
the
some
first wave.
experience. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm kind of worried about how we will face the next one, because I think we're all getting a little stir crazy and a little nuts with these masks, and everyone's a little tired of it all. and you see a lot of people relaxing a little too much in public. Do you have any specific advice because you seem to deal well with these kind of situations, and I think a lot of us are really getting to the point where we can't take this anymore.
Yeah, I heard somebody say yesterday, we're all tired and done with the COVID. However, COVID-19 is not done with us.
Yeah.
And for me, because I have children that are medically fragile, I must be vigilant. I can't let my guard down. I can't become lackadaisical. I had a conversation with a young man, I think he's 28 or 29 a few days ago, that just blew me away, where he said, you know, this is just a conspiracy, right? And I said, what are you talking about? I wanted to specifically hear what his conspiracy was. He says, well, this whole COVID thing, there's more people that die from the flu and nobody shuts anything down for the flu. And I said, I'm going to call him Toby. That's not his real name. I said, Toby, how many people do you know that have ever died from the flu? He said, none. I said, ask me the same question. He did. I said, I don't know a single person who has ever died from the flu. However, to date, I have lost 11 people that I know from COVID.
Yeah.
I said, so no, it's not a joke. It's not a conspiracy. It's a real virus. And he said, yeah, but it only affects old people. And I said, well, if you do a little research, you'll find that the people that are most likely to die are my age.
All of the above, actually. There are kids. I mean, it's hitting everybody nowadays.
Well, it is, but the mortality rate is still hitting those between 50 and
Yeah.
65 the hardest. And I said, and he said, yeah, but you know, those people probably had underlying illnesses. And I said, you do realize that 5 of my children have serious life-threatening illnesses, right? Oh, yeah, I forgot that. I said, so please, if you want to be irresponsible, that's fine. That's your life. It's your business. But just please, like, open your mind to the reality that this thing is deadly, that it will affect my children's lives and potentially kill them. But here's the other thing. Now they're saying even 4 and 5 months out from being recovered and released from doctor's cares, people have things like permanent lung damage. They have loss of taste, loss of smell. Can you imagine if I lost the ability to taste sourdough? Neurological damage, heart damage, blood vessel damage, lung damage that's permanent. So even if you don't end up dying, you could end up being having your quality of life altered by it greatly. And I'm not afraid of COVID, but I respect it. And I don't want it in my house.
I remind my friends, my family, and my staff that it's easier to wear a mask than it is to wear a ventilator. So that's kind of how I remind myself that it's important.
Yeah, you think a mask is uncomfortable. Imagine laying face down in a hospital for 4 weeks on a ventilator.
Right.
So, next question.
Thank you, Donnie. I just wanted to say thank you again to Bath Fitter for giving us this opportunity to hang out with you today, Delilah. So a big thank you to our friends at Bath Fitter, to all of them that are on the call today. Thank you so much for being here with us. The next question is with Jennifer. Hi, welcome.
Wait a minute, you got the whole family in a pool. You're going to have a pool party with Jennifer right now.
Come over.
Jennifer, why don't you share your question with Delilah?
Sure. So Delilah, first of all, I love you to death. You got me through
Thank
so
you.
many breakups, so many things. Actually, you picked out a song for my husband in 2000. We did Firehouse Love of a Lifetime, and that was our wedding. And it was so cool. It was amazing. So I just have to thank you for that. I just
Finally found your love of a lifetime.
Yes. And also just wanted to share my story just a little bit. And I want, very fast, because I know we have a lot of people. During the COVID, I'm a DJ and an event planner, and unfortunately, it caused my business to sink. So, but I'm in good spirits with everything. I'm trying to go into something new. I'm going to actually be studying a nutritionist because I'm going to be working with cancer patients. I'm a cancer survivor. And, I just think it's very important. It's something I was always passionate about. But through these times, we have to change and we have to do other directions, in order to get through. And especially, and also my daughter is adopted. So we adopted her last year, and she's been the most amazing person in my life. She's a saint. My husband and I were married 15 years before we had her. And it's just been like a beautiful thing. I listen to your stories all the time, so I know this is a good one for you. But another song that you did too was "You Light Up My Life." That was also back in 1999, and that's something else that was always a song that touched me. And when I did have cancer and I went through chemo, I just remember you picked this song, you just touched my life so much. I mean, I just have to tell you that. And it's just, amazing. I'm so glad I got to talk to you. And I wanted to ask you, was your passion always radio? Was that something you always wanted to do?
First off, can you move the camera so I can see your daughter a little better?
Yeah.
Because all I'm seeing is her eyes.
Aw.
Hi, sweetie. What's your name?
Alana.
Alana, you are gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. How old are you?
9.
Wow. And you got a life, a whole new family with a swimming pool. How cool is
Empty
that?
dogs.
What?
Oh yeah, we have 2 dogs, but they're inside because all they do is bark.
So has radio always been what I wanted to do? Yes. I was 8 or 9 years old when I was in Girl Scouts, and we took a field trip to the local radio station. And from that day on, I was obsessed. I was, all my friends were into posters of Donny Osmond or Michael Jackson, and I had Newswire from the radio station taped to my bedroom walls instead of posters of pop stars, because I loved practicing reading the news or weather forecast or stories.
Oh, wow.
And then when I was in junior high, I started doing a work study program at the radio station. So I've been on the air or in a studio almost my entire life.
Wow, that's fantastic. I actually know Donny Osmond's cousin, Justin Osmond. Do you know him from
No, but I know Donnie.
Yeah, he runs for hearing impaired organization, the Olive Osmond Foundation. So I've worked with him, and I also worked with Dr. Oz too. So they're amazing. But you top them, no.
Thank you.
You're my
Thank you.
inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So the next question is from Bridget Lakova. Bridget, are you on the call?
Hi, Bridget.
Hi.
Hi, Bridget. Bridget, if you don't mind, you can share your question with Delilah.
Yes. My question for Delilah was, what is her favorite part about her job?
Free pizza. My favorite part of being on the air, oh my gosh, I love all of it. I love the music. I love getting to meet the artist and interview the artist. I think probably just being on the phones at night and talking to people and hearing the most beautiful stories, like the story we just heard, how God built a family and answered prayers and get people through chemotherapy and cancer, and after you go through all that, seeing the rainbow at the end of the storm and having a beautiful daughter to share it with, and a husband of however many years, 25 years, who loves you unconditionally. Those are the things that I love most, is hearing those stories. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story, and everybody's got a gift or a talent or an insight. And my life is enriched by those stories. And that's probably the part that I love the most. Well, that and the fact that I got to meet Donny Osmond.
That's your boy. Aw. So the next question comes from one of your favorite listeners. He might be one of your youngest listeners. His name is Julian. And Julian's here with his dad. Hey, Julian.
Hi, Julian.
Hey.
How are you,
How
buddy?
are you?
This is Delilah.
Yeah, I love your
Julia.
show so much. And I have a great request for a song I really want you to play on your show
Okay,
tonight.
hold on. I got to get a pen and write it down, Julian, because I won't remember. Okay, what song do you love?
So I'll tell you. So the artist I like that's on Lite FM is Whitney Houston because she is so emotional. She has nice, great songs, but I don't want you to play Whitney Houston. There's another great song I love that played a while ago on Lite FM, which I want it to play on your show tonight between 8 and 8:30 because I will be in bed after 8:30 and I love your show so much. The one I love is Drum Roll. It's from the 90s.
Okay, hold on. I got to do a drum roll. Go ahead.
Losing My Religion by R.E.M. Oh, like it's bigger than you and you are not me. I love that song so much. It's the best.
Julian, you need to go into broadcasting.
Oh my gosh.
Because you would be a great DJ.
Yes, I would. And I
So
love
much
it.
enthusiasm.
Well, Lite FM has given incredible structure to us while we've been inside, and Julian listens. In fact, we're on split screen with the Lite FM website right now.
It tells you
he's
which
checking what's
song-
playing right now.
Which
So it's like
songs are coming?
it's become his religion.
Julian, let's see where producer David is. Where's producer David up here?
I don't know, but I have
Here.
another question.
Listen.
Okay, so producer David,
Yes.
Julian wants to know if we can work Losing My Religion in on the show tonight. Can we do that?
Let's see what we can do, and then we'll see about doing a little message for him. How about that?
A little message for Julian?
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
I think his written question was he wanted to know how you end your show because he's.
Do you say the person who will be on next? Like,
Well, I usually say, do me a favor, take some time out of your busy day tomorrow to slow down and love someone.
and what's the last word you say? Do you announce the person who's next? The next
Sometimes
host?
I announce the person who's next. Sometimes I just end it on, you're listening to Delilah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because he once emailed Rich Kaminsky and he said, Rich, you need to remember to introduce Delilah.
And
Aw. Hey,
Okay.
Julian, next
7:40.
year, if COVID goes away and we get to do skating in Central Park, Rich is always there with me. So you should come and say hi to both of us.
what day?
It's the first weekend in December.
Yep,
Yeah, but
December
is-
5th and
Is
6th.
he there at the same time with you?
Yes, he's there at the same time with me.
Like, I think you were on one day and he was on the other day, though, like Saturday.
Whenever I go to skating in Central Park, Rich is always there saying hi and running the microphone.
Yeah. Okay. So that's.
I'll make sure that
I
he's
look forward to that.
Yeah, and just remember, please play Losing My Religion by R.E.M. tonight between 8 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. The first 30 minutes of the start of your show, because after that I'll be asleep.
All right. I got a question
so
for
much.
you, Julian. Julian, I got a question for you. Are you there?
Yeah.
Are you like the smartest kid in your class?
Yes, I am. And
Is that
I
what
knew
we said?
that.
Is that what we said?
yes, I am. I love
Yes,
like
he is, Dad.
so much than any
a-
other radio station.
He's a concert pianist and not professionally, but he's a wonderful pianist.
He's a
and
genius.
Very musical.
Yeah.
And very genius
Thank
and very, very, very sweet.
That's
Yeah.
Thank
amazing.
you so much. You've been an inspiration to us.
And
God
yeah,
bless you.
you're an inspiration, Delilah.
I can't wait to hear you play the piano.
Yeah, and once again, please play my song between 8 and 8:30
I
tonight.
think that was a yes.
I love this
I think
kid.
that's the answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Katz. We appreciate you. Thank you, Julian.
All
Thanks
right,
for being
thank
such a loyal Light FM listener. I appreciate you. Thank
We
you,
love
buddy.
you. Thank
Love
you.
you.
Love you more. So the next question we have is from Marissa. Marissa, meet Delilah, if you don't mind sharing your question with us.
Sure. Hi, Delilah. I've been listening
Hi,
to you for
Marissa.
such a long time. I love you.
Thank you.
So my question, you kind of touched on it actually earlier on in the show, was how to help our children, especially our children who suffer from anxiety before COVID, to get ready to go back to school. We don't really know what school is going to look like in September, if we'll be back, and they're talking about hybrid models and remote learning. But for the kids who suffer from anxiety and then got to stay home in the safety of their bedroom and in their kitchen to do their schoolwork, to now push them back out into school when maybe they're nervous or stressed about sickness or illness or whatever else was stressing them out.
I honestly don't think why am I echoing? I don't think that school is going to be anything like it used to be. I don't know nobody knows what it's going to be like. And so my kids keep asking for definitives and asking questions and when are we going to start? And I said, baby, I don't know. I don't have those answers. And so for now, the plan is if your school resumes, then we'll take that one day at a time. And if we don't like the way that it looks, then you'll be homeschooled. Because I'm not going to send my kids back if there's no lunchtime and no recess. That to me is cruel. To ask a class full, my son will be 5. To ask a class full of kids, expect them to sit still and stay 6 feet apart and not play at lunchtime and not have a recess, that to me is cruel. There's no way I would put them back in that environment. My older girls, it may be that their school, they're talking about doing class like Tuesday, Thursday, and then remote learning Monday, Wednesday, and having Friday off. They don't know. Nobody knows. And
No.
so all I can tell them is, honey, we don't know. But if it doesn't look like it's going to work for us, then I'm going to homeschool you guys and I'll hire a tutor to work with them, because I'm not putting them at risk. 2 of my littles that are home right now that would be going back to school are medically fragile. I'm not going to put them at risk. And so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think the waiting is what causes so much stress and anxiety, to not know, the unknown.
Yeah, and so that's why I keep deferring to, if I don't like the way it looks, if it doesn't look like it's going to work for us, then we're just going to plan on being homeschooled.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many families would be lucky enough to be able to do that. That's because I'm in education too. And, my friends and colleagues, we go through all the different scenarios of how can schools open and how can we keep our kids safe and our own children safe. And
I don't think anybody has those answers right now, because the numbers have gone up exponentially just in the last 5 days. And if it continues on this trend, there won't be school. We know that.
Yeah.
We had, yesterday we had around the world 164,000 new cases. Here in America, we had 36,000 new cases in a 24-hour period.
Insane.
There's no way that the schools will open up if those numbers continue trending upwards. So.
Yeah. So here's a quick aside question. How do you get to know your students for teachers? If we can't go back to school, do you have any fun ideas of what we can do to get to know our students and their personalities if we have to do school remotely?
Well, we did something really amazing in our family the last couple of months since we've been on the shutdown. And that is, every night we have dinner together, and then I come to work, and every night at the dinner table, we ask one question and then everybody answers it. And they're really thought-provoking questions that have shown me sides and aspects of my kids that I didn't even know. Like, if you could have dinner with any historical character and you can't choose God because that's a cop-out, who would it be and where would you have your meal? And it's fascinating. Like my
that
daughter
idea.
Blessing blurted out Hitler, and I'm like, of all the people in the world, why would you choose him? She said, because I would poison him. I was like, that's brilliant. She said, I thought so. You know, but just thought-provoking questions like that will give you insights to these kids, other than, you know, what's your favorite color and what do you do, what are your hobbies, or what's your dog's name. To me, that's been one of the huge gifts of COVID, is I've gotten to know these 5 kids on a completely different level, in a completely different light. I mean, how brilliant was Blessing? I'd invite Hitler. Why?
That was a good answer.
Yeah.
I would cook him dinner and I would poison him. I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa, for asking such a great
And
question.
thank you for being an educator. Boy, do I
Thank
appreciate
you.
teachers so much more now.
Aw.
you.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Our next one is Andrell. Andrell, are you still on the call?
What a cool name.
Hello.
Hi.
Meet Delilah. This is Andrell.
Hi, Delilah.
I love your name.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Aw. Feel free to share your question that you sent to me, to Delilah.
Oh, my question was basically, how do you stay positive through everything that you've been through in life?
My faith. If I didn't have my faith, and if I didn't know that I know that I know in the core of my being that there is a just and merciful and loving God, I would not have been able to carry on after I lost my first son. I sure as hell wouldn't have been able to carry on after I lost Zach. But the fact that I know that there's an eternity, and that this world is not my home, this is a very temporary place that I'm going to be, and that eternity is forever, and I keep my eyes focused on that. I had a pastor years ago that said, when he said, this is not scriptural, he said, but I believe when I die, God is going to ask me 2 questions. Number 1, what did I do with him? Did I have a relationship with the Almighty? And number 2, and this was what blew me away, he said, what did I do with every person that God placed in my life? He said, those are going to be the 2 questions I think I'm going to be asked. And he said, so I want to be sure that I can answer those 2 questions with, you know what I did, God? You know, my life is a living testimony. And when you realize that every person in your life, Andrell, is there for a reason, that God placed them there for a reason, maybe to teach you something, maybe for you to teach them something, maybe to develop patience, but everybody is placed in our life for a reason, then for me, other people are a miracle, and I want to know what their miracle is and why they're there and how they're there to impact me and how I can be a blessing to them. And if I didn't have that philosophy, that belief system, I would have checked out a long time ago.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
So,
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Aw.
Oh, wait, baby, bring baby back.
Oh my goodness.
Let me see this baby.
Say hi.
Hi. Hi, baby.
Oh no. She just woke up from a nap.
Is that yours?
That's my niece.
Oh,
No, my niece.
so cute.
I love you too.
I love you. Thank you. Love you.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank your family for being a part of this tonight too. It's so sweet.
Thank you.
And And our next question that we have comes from Sylvia. And Sylvia, if we can have you unmuted, great.
Did it
Feel
work?
free to ask your question to Delilah.
Hi, Delilah.
Sylvia's mother said that Sylvia's busy.
I know, everybody sings me that song.
I bet.
I have to tell you, I'm a big fan forever. You've got me through, like, well, everybody else, I'm sure, on this page, through a lot of things. But I just want to say that I know you said you started in camp, that you wanted to become a radio host. But how do you stay so calm and spiritual and joyful and just have that positivity all the time, every night? Because you tell your stories and then I kind of reflect on it afterwards, and then I kind of zen out and I'm like, you know what? She's right. I have to take that road and not that road. So
well, first off, I've taken a lot of roads, Sylvia.
I know.
I've taken a lot of roads.
I know.
I think one of the gifts of getting older is there is wisdom and a lot more patience that I had than I had when I was younger. I'm a hothead.
Right.
The truth is, I am a hothead.
You don't seem like it. Like, I'm very calm. It takes a lot for me to get crazed. So that's...
No, it doesn't take a lot for me to get crazy. I am a hothead, and I have a really bad temper. And I've hurt myself, and I've hurt other people by my temper. And so one of the gifts that God has given me with getting older is my temper is not nearly as quick as it used to be. I get mad fast, and then I forgive and get over it fast.
Right.
But I mean, I'm basically the same person off the air as I am on the air, except I curse a lot more off the air.
That's me too, all the time. I always tell my kids, once we leave these doors, there's none of these words spoken. So they know the rules of the house.
I try not to curse so much in front of the kids. I have 3 curse words.
But it's in a good way. It's not in a bad way. I use it, you know.
No. They say that people who use colorful words have higher IQs anyway, so I cling to that.
Okay.
But I mean, I am pretty much a positive person. I am a blessed person, and I know it. I have, and I don't want to be political here, but I have privileges that I recognize and appreciate, and I'm grateful for the blessings that I've been given, and I want to use those privileges and those blessings to change the world for good. I don't want to be silent about issues that matter, and I don't want to ever take for granted all the blessings that God has given me. I want to use them
It's true. Yeah, and you do.
to bless the world. So I'm a pretty positive person. It takes a lot to get me down. And if I do wake up in a foul mood or depressed, it usually only lasts until my first or second cup of tea, and then I'm usually fine.
And then you're good to go.
Then I'm good to go.
Great.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Tammy. And Tammy, are you unmuted? Yes, you are. Beautiful.
Hi, Dee. Hi, Delilah.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Look at you chillaxing there. Got the pillows, all relaxed.
This is my official Zoom spot.
Very fun.
Thank you.
What's your question?
Well, it was a pretty meandering question, but I think what I'm really looking to hear is your take on if I should proceed with this marriage ceremony. I'm already married to my husband.
You're the one that got married, but you never had a ceremony.
Yes, that's me.
Yes, you definitely should. You're going to have to ask your guests to wear masks if they're in close proximities. But if you do it outside, you could do it outside, like in a big yard or a park.
Yeah.
You got to have a ceremony, honey.
I know. Well, my husband was actually suggesting, he got down on his knee at one point during this pandemic. We've been married for 4 years, and he says, would you please do a Zoom with me? We need to say our vows. We need to state our principles in front of our friends and family, because it's just been, life has come and postponed things.
You need to do that, though. You need to affirm, I think I think those things are important, and your vows and what you are, what your relationship means to you is something to be celebrated. You know, societies are held together by those very things, those traditions, those expressions of love, those, when I started working in West Africa, one of the things that blew me away was their funeral services last a week. And I was like, this is just so macabre, so weird. And then the man who was our director in Africa, who runs everything over there, Adam Sandow, set me down and he said, Mama Delilah, he said, this is not strange or celebrating death. He said, this is how families see each other. We don't have big Christmas dinners or big Thanksgiving dinners like you do. But during the week of the funeral for our elders, it's a family, what did he call it? Like a family gathering where all generations come and honor the person who passed, but also honor each other and get to meet the cousins and the grandkids. And it's not, just about death. We focus on that person's life, but we focus on the family. And those traditions are important, and you got to do something. You got to do something.
Well, we'll already have the ring bearer and the flower girl set up, because I have a 3-year-old son, Tommy, and I have a 6-month-old Dominique, and we're really.
Aww. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to chat and get your thoughts about this. You're an inspiration.
You got to have a ceremony. You got to have the kids a part of it. You got to have the people that you love a part of it, and just celebrate a beautiful family that's been woven together.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Tammy. Our next question is from Jen L, and I don't know if she's on. Jen L, are you on?
I see a Jen F, a Jennifer Bucala.
Yeah, Jen Losella. I don't see her.
No.
I'm here.
There
you are. Okay, I didn't know how
to put my last name. Sorry.
It's okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Jennifer. We appreciate you, and please feel free to ask Delilah your question.
Okay, so my question is, if you weren't in the radio business, what would you do instead?
Oh gosh, if I could have passed chemistry, I would have been a doctor. I was going to school pre-med and doing radio on the side, but I thought of radio as something that I was going to do until I got a real profession. And I couldn't pass chemistry. And I had a conversation with a professor of mine at school, and he told me how much money he earned. And I went, wait a minute, you've got your doctorates and I'm making as much money as you are on radio? And that was the last class I ever took. I would probably, I wanted to be a doctor or do something in medicine. I would probably be in the medical profession. I love taking care of people. Probably a midwife or something that has to do with babies, because I love me some babies. I don't know. I just cut my dog's hair today, so maybe I'd be a groomer.
That's good.
Yeah, who knows? Thank God I don't have to get a real job, though.
That's true. Yeah, the radio's better.
Yeah, radio is so much more fun than a real job.
Aw, thank you, Jennifer. We do have one last question from Charlie. Charlie, let's unmute Charlie.
Hi.
Hey, Charlie, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
Look at those dimples. My God, you're beautiful, Charlie.
Thank you. Charlie's actually my daughter's name, but she's on Zoom all the time for school, so I didn't change the name. My name's Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you for having time. Thank you, Bathfitter. Love their commercials, so thank you for them for setting this up. I just want to express my condolences to you and everyone who has just suffered some kind of pain through all of this. Like, I feel you and seeing it, and I know that better times are ahead. So I just wanted to express my condolences to you, Delilah, specifically since you've been, it seems, impacted a lot by this as well. But I also just wanted to give a huge shout out to the educators in the room. I am a teacher.
Yes. We love you.
Yes.
I miss you.
Monuments.
God, I miss you.
I see my daughter's teacher. She goes to preschool via Zoom, and monuments should be erected in what these teachers do. And just amazing. Like I bow to you every time I see teachers like that doing dances and pretending to swim. This is my other son. This is Jack. But I wanted to ask, I know it's shorter on time, and I'm going to try really hard not to get emotional when I ask this. So I'm a career changer. I decided to follow my heart and my hero, which is you. You have inspired me in so many ways. And I realized that it would make me so happy to be on the air and just have moments like this where you can get to know people and hear their stories. And so my amazing husband, who just gave me my second child, he supported me and he said, babe, make your dream come true. If you're happy, we're happy. And I went to school to study communications, both on TV and radio. And then COVID happened. So that just really got put on pause. And so my question to you, just as my best friend and you don't know it, I want to ask you, like, what should I do? Do you think I should kind of just give up and put my—
No, heck no.
You know, 'cause it was rough. I applied to be an intern and I got turned down. I was like, I swear I can clean toilets. I make really good coffee. I don't mess up bagels. I'm good.
Okay, David, where's David?
Oh, he just stepped out to go get Charlie.
No, not your David, my David.
Oh, that's my husband.
My
Sorry.
producer, David.
Heidi ho.
So David and Dee, take this lady's information, and when the offices open back up, let's get her an internship.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, when our studios are open back up, honey, we'll get you an internship. But do not ever, 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 ever give up on your dreams. When God puts something in your heart, you know, I've been fired 12 times. And every time when my mom was alive and I'd get fired, she said, sis, when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to give up on this and settle down and get a real job? And I said, Mom, hopefully never, because this is my dream. This is what I was meant to do. This is my passion. And there is no stability in it. But here's the thing. Technology is changing so fast. We don't know, just like we don't know what's going to happen with school tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen on the air or how that's going to be. I want to eat him up. How old is he?
He's 10 months, but wears 24-month clothes. He's big boy.
He just, look at those cheeks. Oh
yeah,
my God.
He went to broadcasting school with me in my belly. I took my finals.
We don't know what the delivery mechanism is going to be in the future, if it's going to be radio, if it's going to be podcast, what it's going to be. But so long as there are human beings, they will want to connect and have content. And so people used to say to me when I was on AM radio, what happens if FM becomes a thing? I'm like, I'll be on FM radio. I don't know. And there's always been this fear that the next thing is going to somehow wipe out my job. And I'm like, so long as there are human beings with ears to hear, they're going to want to connect. They're going to want to hear music. They're going to want to hear stories. They're going to want good content. They're going to want to be inspired. And so I've never been worried about losing my career, because I don't know what the form is going to be, how it's going to be delivered. But if you've got stories, honey, to tell, and you've got a heart of compassion to connect with people, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. And maybe it's you're going to do a podcast about what to do when your child is so stinking cute it makes you break your teeth.
She's talking about you, not me.
I am. Oh my gosh, look at those cheeks.
This is Jack. Yes. Delilah, like I said, you're my best friend and you don't know it.
But you can do anything you set your mind to. You can do anything you set your mind to. If you want to go into television, you're gorgeous. You can do well. I chose not to do TV because I like the intimacy of radio.
Yes.
And you don't have that with television. You got people fussing with your hair and fussing with your face and fussing with your microphone and fussing with the camera angles. When I'm on the air, it's just me and the microphone and David in the studio making it all sound good. It's really intimate, and I love that intimacy. But you can do anything you set your mind to.
Oh, Delilah, thank you so much. I just, yes, you have inspired me, and obviously everybody here beyond words. You know, it's like,
and COVID is not going to take away our need to connect. If anything, it's increasing our need to connect. COVID is increasing our need to connect in meaningful ways. All the strife in the world and the protest and the really tough conversations that are being held, these are increasing our need to connect and listen and honor one another. I mean, all the stuff that's going on hasn't made my show less relevant. It's made it more relevant because we need to connect and honor one another. And that's what I do. That's what you'll do.
Thank you. Thank you so from the bottom of my heart. God bless. Thank you for just being an inspiration and doing your thing.
This thing that's going on here with Jack, I've had my kids in the studio with me, my 3 bio kids, until I quit nursing them, and I nursed them till they were 2. And all that was going on behind the scenes that you listeners never knew.
Yeah,
just
I
that
teach
right
like
there.
this sometimes.
Yeah, eat the
They're
paper.
the best. They're the best. They're the best. And that's why I think I felt so conflicted. So you've helped me beyond belief. Beyond.
Go for it. Go for it.
Aw.
Good luck.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Delilah, do you have any last words for our friends here today?
Wear a mask. Please wear a mask. Last words. We live in really troubled times. There's a lot going on. And I would just encourage you to be kind. I'm down to like 4 friends on my social media feed, my private feed, because I've either snoozed or unfriended everybody who is saying hateful, hurtful, foolish, big-headed, bull-headed, pig-headed, I'm right, you're wrong kind of nonsense. There's no room. We don't need that in the world right now. We need to be kind, and we need to shut up and listen, and to really honor each other. And I think a lot of people are talking the talk, but I don't see a lot of people walking the walk. And I just want to encourage everybody to walk the walk, to walk in love, to walk in peace, to be kind. Pretty simple.
That is beautiful. You know, I just wanted to say thank you, Delilah, for not only being my inspiration for over 30 years, but I think everyone on this call who wrote me back and said, oh my gosh, I love Delilah. And no matter where we are, and when we're together, or at Broadway at Bryant Park, or at skating in Central Park,
or at Manila's.
Yeah. You know, everyone that comes up to you, you know, they all say the same thing. And I think, like, for me at least, I feel like when I'm with you, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder what Delilah's feeling right now, you know? And I feel like you feel like so elated to have all these people that listen to you in hundreds of markets across the country, and they all say the same thing. They love you, and I love you. I think you're
somebody said last time we were at Broadway and Bryant, they said, oh, you probably get sick of hearing this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like saying you get sick of eating sourdough bread. No, I never get sick of hearing nice things. But it's been an honor. It's been a privilege. every night, and David will tell you this, every night before Janie and I, Janie has been my person, my bestie, my soulmate for 30 years now. And David has been with us, 15, 16 years, something crazy. We pray and we say, God, if there is one person that needs to hear something meaningful, let us be the conduit that you reach them. Mother Teresa said she wanted to be the pencil that God wrote a love letter to the world. And I always say, I'm not being egotistical here, but I want to be the voice that he uses to share his love, that agape love with the world. And Janie and David and I, every night we go in the studio, our prayer is to use us to be an instrument of thy peace. And it works.
It really does.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Delilah. Thank you so much. And I want to thank our friends at Bath Fitter, the perfect fit, for being here. And if you're interested in checking them out, you go to bathfitter.com. And all of us here today just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you guys
have a beautiful wedding.
Delilah. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Delilah. No one more than I believe you.
Thank you, Julian.
106.7 Lights FM.